have to start thinking about the social part, the economic part, who's going to live here, who's going to work there, and try to come up with a plan how we're creating a new economy here to really carry the whole.
Ich kann nur noch mal von meiner Seite aus sagen, wir haben das ja gerade gehört, dass vieles für das Waller steht.
If we're on a global stage, as well as, I go to a lot of different places, and we talk about how many people will live in cities in the future, and the urbanization rate, and if you travel through China, it's just amazing how big those cities are. Me from Holland, it's almost impossible to understand how big cities are and how big city regions as Beijing and Shanghai are. The next thing is they want to sort of organize it in a different way and make bigger city regions, which means that we might talk about city regions with one governance of 100 million people. That's amazing. I just talked a little bit about Lagos too. It's in Africa. It's a city that grows sometimes with 100,000 people a month. Nigeria will be the third country in size in the world in 10, 15 years. So everybody moves to cities, and if it goes that fast, how can you plan for a sustainable city? It's really hard. But even if you have old cities with old buildings, how can we think about making them more sustainable? What does that mean? For me, it starts with ethical choices. I don't know what that means exactly. I know, you need to have better energy systems, better transport systems. Everybody should be able to live in a city. A city needs to have children. Children need dogs. Dogs need grass. You have to be able to walk to places, not just drive in your car. You have to have access to food. Also, if there's a disaster, if something happens, where does your food come from? That's also about sustainability. Sustainability also means that you can provide for yourself as much as you can. So think about local businesses and not just the big global businesses. So we believe in a lot of local hubs. And I don't know exactly how it will pan out in the future, but that's very important. The urbanization rate is going so fast that we know that, in 10, 15 years, 85% of all people in the world live in an urban area. 92% of our economy might be around cities. All the consumption, all the energy use is driven by cities. I think 40 or 45% of all our energy is just in the building industry. It's not just cities, but just building cities is 40 or 45% of our energy. CO2 reduction, we talk about big industries, but cities and the building industry in cities consumes 30%, 35% of it. So, we need to rethink how we want to drive those engines. If cities are the engines of our economy and they drive our world, they should be clean engines. And we can't wait to figure out when that will happen. We have to take action now and make the right choices, and not just about the technical stuff, but also about the social vehicles. Make it engines that we can drive together, where we can make our choices together. That's very important. And we have to do it because, it goes fast. And cities are also our solution. They always have been. When people first started to live in cities, we brought all our diseases together, and they were the big plagues in Europe. But where were they solved? In cities. Cities figured out that hygiene is the thing, and that, medicine was involved, and the universities were there. So that's also why I believe that cities are our hope. Cities are the hope that we can solve all this. Cities are the strength. They are a problem, but without this problem, we might not figure out how to do it next. And a lot of people are figuring it out. Our only challenge is that maybe the urgency is a bit faster and a bit higher than we thought in the past. So our future depends on cities, and to do it well, I believe that Earth Charter cities could be a future, even if we're not calling them Earth Charter. But you think about a couple of things. How does a city live inside the community of life? The urban bricks in nature, very important. But how do people live there? How do they decide to design and to live in their own environment? That's very important. Make sure that everybody participates, because that's a waste. Sustainability cannot be sustainable if not everybody pulls their weight and gets a chance. You know, growing new talent is very important in cities. You know, every city, every community has their own talent. Make sure that we use it in that city. You know, the children are our future, and they can really make it happen. I really think that those are the principles that can really guide us towards what I call radical hope. Radical hope is what we need to really push forward, and cities are the solution. And I think if we put cities within that field of ethical development and ethical operations, we can get it done. And for me, the answer is the Earth Charter.